So we always talk about homegrown social media platforms. We ask whether we'll have an app that can not only challenge the likes of Meta, YouTube, X, but also compete them for a large period of time. Now, one homegrown social media platform that has been around for a while, evolved, adapted, and is still doing pretty well is ShareChat. And today I have with me the CTO of ShareChat, Nitin Jain, to understand how social media ecosystems work and what are the challenges that we as Indians face about that. So, Nitin, first questions, I'll be very direct and honest with you. Why don't we have a homegrown social media platform at the same scale? And whatever we have seen so far, why do you think they have not been able to sustain the momentum?
Thanks, Manas. Thanks for having me here. Viz company started in 2015, and this like almost 10 years later, we are still sitting and as a very thriving social media ecosystem. See, I think first of all, if you look at it from India perspective, if I characterize India, see, basically in India there are three Indias. That was the three Indias, right? So one is affluent India, then another one is aspirational India, and third one is more struggling. And the needs of each of these are very, very different. So when we are trying to build a platform which generally cuts across all these three kind of Indias, then it needs a very, very different solutions. Now building a product, a technology that could actually measure and work well across all these three dimensions, I think that's pretty hard. And then most of the business who are venturing into this area, they don't even realize that they are actually dealing with this reality of the India. So that's one aspect of it. Another major side of this is the product and the technology, the scale which is required to build this. It's like what you're talking about is Indian user base, like about 900 million users who are connected with the internet and consuming contents in the different forms. And more importantly, the language diversity in India, cultural diversity in India. So when you now start building all this, so first of all, you put in all the constraints that I spoke to you about, and then on top of that, the cultural diversity, building a product and technology that can really now understand this diverse user base and is still able to make an offering which is relatively low cost in nature, cost efficient, scalable, and able to deliver the value to the users. I think it's pretty hard, and I think that is one of the reasons why there are only very few platforms in India who really have been able to achieve the kind of success that only few have seen in India, and ShareChat being one of those unique platforms here.
You look at all these big companies, these giants, if they want to make any of their services really popular, they first come to India, they make it accessible to as many users as possible. From a technology point of view, like how are you aligned with that vision?
At the heart, we are a data and AI company. And what we really do is we spend a lot of efforts in terms of building recommendations engine, in terms of understanding Indian languages, in terms of understanding user behavior onto the platform, and then the cultural diversity and all of these various aspects, the way we combine them together, that enables us to really serve our Indian customers without having to really insource any of the external technology from outside into the India. We own the entire technology stack. And this is completely in alignment with India's mission of being of digital sovereignty, as well as the self-reliability or the self-sustainability. Similarly, the platform that we have built, while under these various constraints that we have across three different Indias, we have built an extremely cost-efficient platform. With that cost efficiency, we are able to serve the users the similar contents, similar experience, sometimes even better than what, let's say, some of the global peers are able to offer. We are able to do it at 10x lesser of the cost.
What do you think ShareChat did different, if you have to pick one thing, which ensured this sort of longevity for you?
I think one of the most important dimensions for me is the agility. The way technology is changing, I think we are seeing, like, let's say with generative AI, just from 2022 onwards when ChatGPT came in versus today. See, world has fundamentally changed the way people now look at the contents, create contents, or even engage with each other, and almost every aspect of the professional life. I think that's being changed with the generative AI, and this is impacting organizations as well.
Yes.
And that is where the agility of the organization comes into the picture. This, like, how do we really leverage some of these advancements which are happening into the technology to best of our advantage. ShareChat has been able to latch onto the trend. While we, being a social media company focused on the short video platform, we have been able to catch onto the trend, and in a short time frame became the market leader into that space. So I think that agility and able to leverage the product, technology, and the internal external trends to best of our abilities, I think that is what differentiates us from other.
But when you have content in so many Indic languages, it obviously becomes even more difficult for people to discover it, right? So what sort of technology are you using, integrating to not just make it easier for people to discover this content, but also ensure engagement on platform?
Yeah, and this is where our recommendation system comes into the picture. I think
Yeah.
that is where we have built one of the best technologies in the world in terms of our ability to understand our user. Now our platform will have to be able to discover, based on your initial few engagements, at what kind of contents you are liking versus disliking. Platform will have to quickly adapt. The time that I have you to engage your attention is typically a couple of minutes. If you don't find those relevant content in a couple of minutes, you being a new user, I have lost you already. And I think this is our ability to be able to build this real-time recommendation systems, which literally look at all your engagement onto the platform in real time and then surfaces the right content for you. That is something which is able to give us this advantage of being able to serve our users across different Indian languages without you telling me actually what you are interested into.
So let's say if somebody has to start a social media platform today, what is that one thing that you will tell them is completely non-negotiable? Is it AI architecture, infra efficiency, moderation systems, or just cost discipline?
I think we all are building the product for the user. See, unless we have a real user persona in mind and what's their problem that they are facing, I think until we have good problem statement, irrespective of we doing a good job either on the technology or on the cost or other aspects, I think the product is not going to fly. Another is I think the diversity of India, right? See, we have been talking about a lot about language, but it's not just about language. There's a
Yes,
cultural
cultural
diversity of the India
diversity,
as well,
yes.
right? That cultural diversity is to be understood as well. When enough, it's not just about me showing you a content into Tamil. It's also me able to respect that culture as well.
Yes.
And now that is something part of this machine can learn, but machine then cannot learn everything. I think machine will have to be made learn few things, and that comes in from basically your understanding of the Indian diaspora. I think cost efficiency definitely is super critical, because I think there are both good sides and not too good sides. I think good side is because there are these three Indias. I think there is one affluent India. This India is willing to pay for convenience. So you can build a product where people, let's say, are willing to pay a small subscription amount and do not want to get exposed to ads or few other interruption that might happen. And there are then this India, which basically is more value oriented, who are willing to take a little bit exposure to some of the brand ads and a little bit of disruption. How do you combine these two, right? So now, if you are able to bring in this decent balance of catering to the need of this affluent India as well as simultaneously the need of this not so well-being India, and put them together, I think that's probably is the another advantage. Compliance for sure is big. I think India has been taking a pretty hard stand off late. A lot of regulations which are coming in terms of data privacy, in terms of the contents that different users of different age profiles are being exposed to. So being ready to comply to those regulations which are coming from the Indian government, I think that's very critical. I think the 4 or 5 different concerns, a decent balance between these, I think will get you flying. But again, I think basic thing, if one thing I have to pick, you have to understand the user base, and that's the hardest part.
Data is one thing. It's just that what sort of content is being consumed. Do you think there has to be some sort of censorship to that, or I mean, in this case, just like restricted, just like how in cinema you have a certification for any sort of content, right? Do you think at some point that needs to be considered as well?
So for example, like let's say kids under 13, right? They cannot be exposed to certain kind of contents which are, let's say, violence in nature or other type of sleazy content. So that's where there will have to be boundary that who is able to see what kind of contents depending upon their maturity as well as age profile and other constraints that we might have as a society onto those contents type. And ShareChat is taking a very proactive instance. In fact, we just launched on the Quick TV the parental controls,
Okay.
in which explicit parent consent is required for kids of certain age to be able to watch a certain kind of content. So when our contents are coming in, we are really labeling them depending upon the different age profiles. If parents still grant the permission, that's still possible, but then it's coming with basically this combination of parental consent and platform providing them that ability.
One last question. Now we're heading into 2026. What does your technology roadmap look like for the next year?
In 2023, we were running a massive burn. We were basically spending almost 2 times of what we were earning. By end of 2025, basically our financial year 2025, we reduced our EBITDA by 72%. And while 26 number are still yet to come out, we will actually be ending 26 very, very close to EBITDA neutrality. And we are able to do so, not just so we have been able to reduce burn almost to zero now, like we are almost burning same as we are earning. Simultaneously, we are able to grow massively as well. And I think we are expecting to finish year-on-year growth at about 50% by end of next year. We are hoping to finish at 1200 CR ARR by end of this year. So I think combination of these three things, which is how do we continue to grow? How do we continue to grow sustainably? and then how do we really venture into the new type of content format and deliver and continue to deliver value. I think these three things together will continue to drive my technology roadmap moving ahead.
I mean, fantastic news. That is because it's IPO season, so you will probably one of the first homegrown social media platforms to go public. So all the best with those plans, Nitin, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Manas.